Welcome everyone on today's Metal3 Community meeting. Today is July 3rd, 2024. My name is Adam Rosman and I will be your host today. And let me check if we need to do introductions, but no, I don't see any new participants. So continuing with the reminders, please remember that the meeting is recorded. If you would like to help out the project, please feel free to filter the project or follow this link and check the help wanted issues. We have quite a lot, 60 to be exact. And by fixing those or completing those, it would help us greatly. If your organization feels that it would benefit from adding itself as an adopter, then you can do it by pushing a PR and modifying the adopters.md file in the root directory of the community repository. That would be a big help for the projects to show our level of adoption in the community. Other than that, if you are experiencing CI problems, then as I always say, please create an issue in the affected repository and assign your issue to the Metal3 CI tracker project, and CI maintainers will check it out and will try to fix the issue, or if it's just a hard to reproduce flake, then they will track it and see if it appears again. Related to the incubation proposal, we moved ahead in this, and we got the tag runtime label, which is the correct label. We actually checked with Kashif that which tag are we part of, and it's the runtime. And last week we were the third in the queue. Not sure how much we progressed since then, but that was, I think, a big jump. And that's why there are now quite a lot of incubation related things going on within the project. Yeah, other than that, feel free to check out all the different info pages about the project. Related to the roadmap, this is now getting more and more into shape. We will talk about this and some proposed ways of working related to this to make it manageable. So far, there are 3 different views. There are the status view, where you can basically see that what's going on in what repo, so and what things are on hold for the different repos. And then there is an other view that groups sit a bit differently. So here you can easily filter out one repo and see that in how to say, like in general, how that one repo looks like. And then we have now milestones also, and I think we will discuss that quite a bit today. I created and I think Tomo also did create some milestones, and yep, these basically, I think, self-explanatory, but you can check them from the same project, just in a different view. Yep, and then we can continue on the community working group updates, and the first is the iron scalability.
Yeah, well, I think I'll jump directly to the topic of this story that we had, the fake IPA that was always there on the community meeting for their review. Actually, this was discussed in the beginning. We had like some plans to implement or extend the Sushi Tools fake system with the fake IPA in order to test the scalability, and that basically allowed to test Ironic and any other implementation on top of Ironic. That's why basically we're targeting putting this on the sushi tools. The implementation was basically close to what has been done in the fake system there, and also we developed this using Python, and we wanted to keep it close to the fake system, so it has like more support and maintenance there. However, during the review process, I have been trying to bring this quite many times in the Ironic community meetings, but it had like I think less interest to merge this there. Basically, people there were still asking why we are targeting this to, or why we are putting this on the sushi tools. So not quite sure what is going there, but this fake IPA is completely independent from the sushi tools. It can be hosted anywhere. Basically, it's just uh, fake replica of the real IPA. So it would make more sense like to keep it up to date with the real IPA. We have been trying to think where we can probably host this for as we have already like some scripts building on top of this, just putting the PR there or the changes there and trying to test it like using some scripts in the Nordics organization. But yeah, putting this somewhere would be or would keep it like safe and in a good place basically to maintain. So I'm not sure if community has any interest to host this in the Metal Cube organization, and if we will do so, probably we need also to think how we can put some CI checks and code checks there in the repo dedicated to this, as we might come up with other suggestion for this. I prefer to get your opinion. I had also pushed some changes to the fake system, just some two functions to boot the fake IPA. It's not strongly related to the current implementation, the fake IPA, but it can be any URL, any RESTful API where the fake system would just send a request to initiate the boot, and once it's not needed, just also ask or send a request to destroy this. Probably I see from the comments it still needs some documentation. I just added some documentation in the code basically to the function that I added, but seems there is a place where to put more documentation. I'm not sure even if the existing fake system is documented somewhere where I can just extend this, or there's a plan like to add full documentation from scratch to all this fake system.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting you just do all of this. So I have actually two thoughts here. I've thought a bit more about this. I think a patch can be simplified even more. And I've left comment to this extent, but just to discuss it here, if instead of what you add still have a lot of assumptions about fake API. You literally are talking about starting heartbeater and stuff in your login messages. Maybe we just need hooks. Maybe we just need that sushi tools can send, or fake system, or even sushi tools itself can send a notification. I'm powering on, I'm powering off, I'm changing boot device. That's probably enough for us, right? And just we have just these three hooks that can be sent to any HTTP endpoint. And as a documentation, you just get a contributor guide and say, add a new section, say hooks. And you say, okay, if you use fake system, you can configure some HTTP endpoint that will receive hooks when fake system is doing something. You can use it for monitoring, performance testing, or you can use it with fake API. By the way, that's a link to fake API. that I think will be a very, very small change to Sushi tools and gives us a lot of freedom on the fake API side and gives other people maybe ability to do something else with that. What do you think?
Yeah, so if I understood correctly, we keep the current calls and then we just add another one for sending some notification about the changes of the status, where it can send a request to some static endpoint and with some parameters.
Yeah, it's basically the same that you are doing in your second patch, right? But you still have some assumption specifically that we are starting fake API. For example, you say if state equals on, then some logic. If state equals off, then you say we're stopping heartbeater, right? What I'm saying is just do HTTP request as saying the system is powering on, the system is powering off, the system changes boot device to this. That's it, and no other logic in Sushi tools, and then we just handle it in fake API. What do you think about this?
Yeah, makes sense. Not sure if we should require from the other side, the fake IPA, any specific like endpoints that should be implemented, or it's more dynamic. I'm just thinking about this one.
Yeah, up to you, but we already have some endpoints, right, to receive this notification. We just make them slightly more generic and fake API and move this logic on if state is on, if state is off, move the logic there. Do you think it's gonna work?
Yeah, I think so. I think I can push these changes to the current open changes and see. I still need to check where I should put the documentation. I'm not quite familiar with this in the Sushi tools. Yeah, and I can come back with the updates later.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Any other question related to this, or any other idea, or? Yeah, I think you folks have discussed the technical details, but how does the community feel about hosting this on the MetaCube project? I personally have no issue with hosting the fake IPA on the MetaCube, but this will take some time to put the CI and everything behind it, because now it's like the summer season, a lot of people are going on PTO and so on. So it will be a bit slow, at least I foresee it like that. But I don't see any major problem. It will have a bit different CI, because so far we have not hosted a Python project. Like we hosted image repos for container images, and we hosted Go repos that are mainly Go or mainly Shell, but not any Python. So we will have probably at least one new CI container that has the Python tooling and so on. But nothing major. Oh, of course, and the like the Python dependency management, because until something is part of the OpenStack, of course, that would rely on that common OpenStack upper constraints and so on. But now we if it's hosted outside and it just talks via HTTP with the Sushi tools, we can actually manage the dependencies the same way as we do for Go. So the with the automated tools.
Yeah, you can choose really, you can use upper constraints, you can use your own stuff. And to be clear, the initial proposal did not have any specific CI associated with that either. I don't even think we had unit tests. Did we?
No, not yet, but we actually discussed that if we take on hosting this, then we would need, because this would need to follow the functionality of the IPA. So from time to time, I guess we would make changes, and for that we have to keep this in a good shape.
Right. I'm just saying that's not a blocker for bringing it under
No,
Metal3.
not at all. I'm just saying that what to expect if we take over, that it will take some time. It will be a slow burn next to every other things that we are doing. But the repo can be established relatively quickly. So yeah, no blocker from my side against this.
Yeah, I'm also curious if the community really would like to have this and would make some use of it. And specifically, it's testing the scalability of Ironic. For Metal3, yeah, it also makes sense to be there, as we can test like having multiple cluster, or even like the scalability that test that has been done with Metal3 can rely on this fake IPA there. But I'm just asking if there is like more interest of the community or people to maintain and help support this.
You can add me as one of the initial maintainers. I'm very well familiar with API code, as you guess. And I'm still interested in this work and just overestimated how the rest of the community is interested in that. And I'm sorry for setting expectations wrong.
Yeah, it would be nice if more than just a few of us would have interest, because
Well, I was silent until now. Sorry about that. A bit distracted actually. But in general, I would be like available to help maintaining that. Of course, also considering my like experience on sushi tools and all the ironic stuff.
yep, that sounds good. Do you, by the way, have or planned anything that would use this in the ironic upstream in your own tests? Maybe just
Let's see.
okay.
I hope it will, like, I had expectations somehow misplaced, right? I hoped back in the times that it would be more exciting for the community. So maybe there's not so much of such interest. But then again, everything we do here in Metal3 is going to feed back into the Ironic community. And Metal3 right now is a huge driver for the Ironic project. So that's not an unusual situation. A lot of features trickle down from us into Ironic and get implemented there for Metal3. So it's just, yeah. It's probably going to be mostly Metal3, but it doesn't mean it doesn't apply to the larger Ironic, especially since quite a few Ironic cores are also maintainers here on Metal3, or are active in Metal3 in one way or the other.
Yeah, makes sense. Did this answer your question about like the interest, Mohammed?
Yeah, that's good that we have a couple of people interested to help support and maintain this. Yeah, probably later we can think how we host this on Metal3. Basically, for now, the PR depends a bit on the existing code of sushi tools, is extracting that and hosting it like as an independent component. I need to probably think more about this.
Yeah, that's fine. But at least we are now going into, like, we have a direction, we have ways to move forward. So I think nothing is lost. So yeah, good discussion. Anyone else? Any other comment? Okay, if nothing, then we can quickly go through the release team. It's just in last few weeks, the communication about the releases were kind of discontinued or disconnected. But there were a lot of releases, and we made on the Slack a release notification, and I just wanted to copy it here to have a clear picture for everyone that these things were recently released, and these are the different patch versions that are new. Not much more info. Then the other is that I have added a new section to our notes, and this is the roadmap editors, where we can discuss these ways of working and handling reviews and issues and PRs. And because we now have this roadmap editor team who can edit the roadmap project, and I really like to discuss ways of working things. It was sparked by a discussion today within our team. Originally, the plan was just have everything in the roadmap, both PRs and issues, to have a picture of the project and to be able to share it with the due diligence, the people who are doing the due diligence process for the incubation, and have a starting point. And I have, after discussion, I removed the automatically generated bumping PRs because I think we can all agree that that's not necessarily something that we would need to like manually assign milestones and statuses and whatever those are. Each day there are 5, 6, 7, 10 of those generated, and just a lot of busy work. We would anyway approve most of them and would be part of the next release anyways. But other than that, there are a few questions, and I wanted to do it as a proposal that we can discuss. So the first thing is that the roadmap status would be assigned to all issues and issueless PRs. But in the long term, the goal would be that we encourage and technically enforce the community that if you have anything that's more than what I listed below, we can talk about that. So more than a given complexity or more complex than a certain certain type of PR, then you would create an issue for that. And then I try to put down some guiding principles that what would require an issue and what would not require an issue. And things that would not require an issue, they wouldn't eventually get onto the roadmap because they are just minor things. They would get a milestone when they are merged, and that would be done automatically. And then, yeah, this is basically the discussion and the stuff that I wrote down. And I see that there are already quite few responses. So what are your opinions about this?
So the way you suggest to do that, are we like forced to do that by CNCF, or do we see value that? Because I don't see value in like adding busy work, add issue to every PR. But if you're taught to do it this way, then of course, well.
Yeah, not every PR. So as I said, like the idea is not to every PR, everything that's
okay, every feature. Well,
yeah,
that doesn't make any more sense to me.
Yeah. So yeah, the more complex stuff or things that have more PRs and so on. We looked into what is tracked on roadmaps, and on the Kubernetes, it's all issues. On Capi, there is automatic milestoning where something is merged, and then on the roadmap, like what they track manually are again only issues. So the predicament here is that if we don't have issues, then all of our roadmap looks very, very empty, even though the contributors do a lot of work. So we would need to find a balance between showing what we are doing and what is the direction we are going, and then the busy work, as you said. So that's why it would be nice to generate more issues, because we would be more transparent with that.
Yeah, but we can add a pull request to a roadmap, or we cannot.
At the moment, there are, and because we never enforce this, this is the question actually. So today when we discuss this, my point of view that I'm fine either way. My original assumption was that I would allow still PRs to be added, but then we looked at the other project and they were not really adding them to the roadmap. So if we cannot add the PRs to the roadmap, like, this is the problem. So there is no clear requirement on this. So we can go the direction that, yeah, you can put PRs also on the roadmap if that's what the community wants. But then we have to make this decision. So nothing is decided yet. So I don't know if we should vote about this. Then I could make a poll and ask people to vote. That's also a way to go. If you feel that you really don't want this any form of the issue enforcement, or go towards having more issues. I don't know.
We need to have a reasoning to do that, right? And reasoning, it looks like other projects are doing this, is probably not exactly strong. Like, we need to be able to explain. Imagine you come to a user who proposes a patch, like a drive-by contributor, not me, some operator, and then like, oh, great patch, but we need to create an issue now. It's doing just copy-pasting your pull request description into an issue so to satisfy our processes. That's a bad look. People get really annoyed about this, and I actually met people who are annoyed about this stuff, although it's minor stuff. But people don't like silly work and, copy-pasting, creating two things in GitHub, and it's not helping the GitHub pull requests and issues, the same thing essentially. It's just you copy pasting into another one, and then you link that to that, and that may look good on like roadmap itself, but it's not going to look good for contributors. And we need to be able to answer the question, why the hell are you doing that? And we better be able to do. If we say, okay, CNCF requires that, that's a standard in CNCF, that's one thing. If we say some projects apparently do that, that's I would default to adding just everything we have, pull requests, issues, whatever.
Mm.
And if somebody tells us we're doing it wrong, or if we discover that that actually has problems, like having pull requests there break something, then we change that. And then we can explain people why we change that. I just don't quite look introducing processes where we don't really understand why we're doing this.
Yeah, I see your point. As I said, that was my original approach too. The other kind of more nuanced is the way to look at this, that we can just say that there are like guiding principles, and if you met any of those, then you need to create an issue. So that's why I wrote this down. So yeah, but again, if by default you don't really like to make issues anyway, so you would like our community would just like to create mostly pull requests and then just assign those to the roadmap. Yep, that's doable too. I haven't seen explicit requirement to have only issues in the roadmap, but it kind of I don't know. It looks weird because all the projects in our vicinity, in our ecosystem, are doing it. So, or at least the ones that we rely on. So, not sure what's the reasoning behind that.
Do you have any contacts to ask?
Yeah, we can ask it. We can ask. I can write that down to. So where should I collect these things? So
For what it's worth, I have worked on repositories in the past where this was heavily enforced, and we had to make, if I remember correctly, it was a while ago, but we had to make issues for everything, especially for bugs. And then the PR would link to the issue, and if I remember correctly, there was a CI job, I think, that ensured that every PR was linked to an issue or something like that. But then that was our upstream and downstream everything. That was all of the ticketing that we did, as far as I remember. So it was less work. I don't know how new contributors are going to feel, so I can only speak for myself. It makes sense in my head. I mean, but yeah, it would be slightly more work. So
Yeah, thanks for the
makes
input.
sense.
And by the way, Dimitri, you also mentioned that on Gopher Cloud, it's similar. What is their reasoning? Why they are doing it so that ask for issues?
I haven't asked, and unfortunately, I think it's useless to ask because the team is completely changed. Like, it's currently maintained by new people, but also they're not enforcing it. So I managed to sneak in a few features without creating bugs for them. Yay! Sneaky Dimitri is sneaky. So yeah, but they have that in the contributor guide, but who is reading contributor guides really? That's another thing. It's a bit of like an interesting moment about GitHub. GitHub taught people to do this thing. You just throw a pull request against the team and walk away. And then people get pissed off when that tells them that they need to do some other work. And that's why people hate OpenStack and it's Gerrit, because Gerrit is not GitHub and you just cannot do it the same way. It's really like more a philosophical point rather than an argument.
Yep. I get it. Mhm. So two of you mentioned it that you feel that it's more work and would potentially drive away the new contributors. That's good reasons. How do the others in the core feel about it? Does anyone have an opinion? Because yeah, we would need to kind of represent our community's opinion about this towards the world, the internet. So I really want to make it so that we like to work in that workflow or with that workflow. Is there anyone who has like a strong pro contra opinion about this? I know I can say that Tumo has after today's discussion, he is more the create an issue and enforce that. If it's more complex than a single PR or a syntax and so on, I think Kashif was the same. So it's like two people saying do strong issue enforcement, two are saying not necessarily good idea.
So this interesting aspect here, by the way, we actually have what you describe in OpenShift, by the way. We enforce issues for everything. And then you have simple things that you want to opt out, but how do you opt out? Because what we do in OpenShift, we allow people to put no issue in their subject, and then people just abuse that. Yeah, so there's a bit subtle risk here, and you need to think through. If you start enforcing issues, how do we opt out, and how do we prevent people from opting out when they should not?
Yeah, I mean, for this exact reason, that's why I wrote down that these could be the rules. We can.
Yeah, but how do you enforce them? Like, if you're gonna have a CI job, how does it know?
I thought that it would be enforced during review. So if you go there and you see someone, like we automatically assign two reviewers, and if you got automatically assigned or just stumble upon a PR that you have to review, and you see that it's like 1,000 lines and they are changing features and whatever, and there is no issue linked, then you would say like this would be the responsibility of the reviewers to enforce it. I don't see any better way. Like I don't see an automatic way of enforcing this, because as you said, it's hard to decide. Like if someone wrote 10 lines, but all the 10 lines are, I don't know, just some environment variable getting some minor modification, that can go in a PR, but an automatic system cannot decide that it's a feature, it's bug, it's whatever it is. So I would do it manually. Of course, people who work on MetaCube, like I would say, majority of the times are part of the project and part of the reviewers or maintainers or whatever. So we can manage ourselves, but for externals, it would be just our responsibility to review if it needs an issue or not. That was what I came up after we discussed it today. Adil, you raised your hand?
Yes, I agree with that. We don't have to have a CA job or anything. These things can be enforced with the reviews. And more issues, we also discussed that if there is something that you are not going to work on, but you are planning to, like, it should be fixed, so you should create issues. And more issues are good, so other people can take them and start working on them. And I think I agree with Dimitri in a way that we don't have to create issue for everything. And this we can check if someone has, as Adam has mentioned, if someone has a really big PR, we can review them. And if we see that issue is needed, then we can ask the contributor to create an issue. I think that's fine. Yep. That's mostly from my side.
Yeah, I don't think we have any argument that if people are not proposing a pull request, they should create issues. That we're definitely on the same page here.
Let me try to edit this a bit. So contributor wants to fix, okay, contributor can't, yes, anything required, yes. So these three are clear for everyone, and we all agree. These three were done so far anyways. So we I think already done it like this. I put a green color on that. So these are the three that as I understand we are not so aligned about.
If more than one PR is created to solve the issue, then I guess it can make sense if you can kind of find the reasoning and the narrative, but then you can also find that from PRs. I'm not sure, but it might help. It might help if there's a lot of no, but then all of that context is present in PR comments and reviews and descriptions. So I don't know. Could be useful.
Yep, I mean the top two are basically almost the same thing. They are overlapping each other. That if there are multiple PRs to solve an issue, I think if you want to track a situation like that, an issue is useful, like on a technical level, because you can just link them all, or even have a checkbox there in the issue and track them. But also it's a good idea, I think, to take into consideration when we don't need this. So as I said, any typo, syntax, one-liners, drafts, tests, automatically generated stuff, those are all dependency pinning if you do it manually. Like none of these would need this. So only actual change that influences the behavior of the components, like logically, not just like some dependency or something like that. We are kind of running out of time. Let's table this discussion. I will put this also on the community chat, and we can continue discussing this there, because I think there are it's kind of hard to come to a final decision here because we have to do this case by on a case by case basis if it's not as simple as what I wrote down here. And I guess that's an additional workload on every reviewer. So yeah, it has to be discussed further. Yeah, and the additional stuff I just added, it's just milestones would be assigned automatically if something gets merged. So you don't really have to think about milestones unless you want to block a release with a specific PR. So you want to say that I will assign a milestone for this PR or for this issue, and we cannot release until this is merged, and this will be a blocker. So otherwise, you just don't have to care. It will do it when you merge it.
I like it.
Good. Yeah, I think this is the same. The blocker stuff I mentioned, and then what I wrote down that just to keep this, I will set this up, but then eventually when the release team does the release, they would need to just modify this config. It is just PRAW configuration, like you just have to change the target release. It's a tiny thing, but the release team would need to take care of this at every release because then they have to make the PRAW know that you have to assign it to the next version from now because we did the release. And then I will write down the docs. I already updated the roadmap documentation quite a bit. Yep, and there is Dimitri's comment. Yeah, I agree that we have to make sure and we have to document it, and we have to put it into the PR and the issue templates also, so that it's instantly visible for everyone. Yeah. Okay. Is there any other question, comment for this? If not, then I will just continue. We organized mainly Kashif a presentation for the 18th of July in the tag runtime meeting, and we will present the project with the aim to help with the due diligence process or just get this thing done even before it starts. And it's just a basic representation of the project. We will just want to highlight, or we will just highlight the positives and why this is a good fit for an incubated project and how this benefits the CNCF and so on. And then just show that we have grown and matured, and we have a good track record, and we are meeting all the requirements. Nothing too technical. It's more like a project lifecycle thing. And I put there the link. There are info about the meeting itself, so feel free to join. That would be good if as like more and more people would join, or as many as possible, to just show the support for the project. Yeah, is there any question related to this? If nothing, then the last one is from Ricardo.
Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about impossible simple make job for MetaCube DevEnv. Just wondering if anything was planned or.
Yeah, no issue was created yet. There was a discussion, and with the CI team, I think eventually the decision was that it's a go, so we can make it. It would be made. So right now the Ubuntu has everything. The CentOS has barely anything. So the idea was that whatever distro has proper tests, integration feature, whatever, for the PR and execute it automatically. For that, we wouldn't need it because that would anyway run the make things. But
Right.
but for the other distros, which we don't test, like we don't do integration test and so on, there we should put it there. So at least that much automated tests would be needed. So I think on the dev it's the CentOS that we are not running the make for, so there should be this CentOS test. Sadly, we can't put it into the GitHub Actions because GitHub Actions have no other images, just Ubuntu, at least in our organization. So we will put it on Xerxes, the infrastructure provider, but no one has started to do it yet. There was also this discussion that should we do this for all the supported distros, like different versions, like Ubuntu 22, 24, and so on. So that's also a concern, because right now when we say Ubuntu, we just use one version of Ubuntu, but we actually still support multiple versions. Same was the case for CentOS, although, yeah, I think now we just have the stream, the 9th stream, but correct me if I'm wrong. So that's a question.
We only support CS9, Emilio, so the stream is not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but there is no blocker for this, so this should come. I think I'll write it down that let's make a issue for this, because I think we forgot this one, honestly, after we discussed it.
And put it on the roadmap.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Is there any other comment, question? Have I forward to discuss something that happened recently?
I hope until my vacation next week to be able to write some formal design proposal for an extended loan operator. The MVP part, I mean, the minimum thing we can do to make it actually usable. So hopefully incoming by end of the week.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, anything else? Okay, if nothing, then thanks for your time. It was a long discussion, but I think it was good discussion, and let's meet next week. And next week we will do some triaging, and the new triaging will also involve the roadmap and potentially the milestones. Yep. So thank you, and see you next week. Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.
Welcome.